Welcome to Dreamy Tales, where soothing stories guide you into a peaceful night's sleep. Enjoy imaginative bedtime stories that take you on a journey to the land of dreams, accompanied by relaxing background sounds to help you unwind and drift off easily. Perfect for both children and adults, Dreamy Tales is your ideal companion to relax, wind down, and enjoy tranquil moments. Don't forget to subscribe, like the video, and share it with others. Tune in, relax, and let your mind wander into a world of calm and serenity with us. Once upon a time, nestled within a small, secluded town bordered by an ancient, whispering forest, stood the majestic Meow Mansion. This was no ordinary mansion. Its towering walls held centuries of secrets, and rumors swirled of it being enchanted. Legends spoke of its halls housing not just humans, but a multitude of spectral beings and whimsical creatures who called the mansion home. In this unusual dwelling lived Phantom, a ghostly white cat whose fur shimmered like stardust beneath the moon's gentle gaze. With piercing emerald eyes that held mysteries of their own, Phantom was known for his peculiar talent. He could find anything lost within the mansion and solve mysteries hidden in its many nooks and crannies. His skills made him beloved among the mansion's spectral residents, who often sought him out for help. On any given day, Phantom could be found gliding silently through the mansion's grand corridors or exploring its hidden chambers. But one chilly autumn evening, as the moon hung like a silver pendant in the sky, a distressing call echoed from the grand library. It was Mrs. Whiskerwood, the mansion's beloved librarian, a forgetful but wise witch whose magic helped keep the mansion's enchantments alive. Her voice quivered as she cried, "Oh, my precious book! It's gone!" Phantom padded quietly into the library to find Mrs. Whiskerwood in a state of near despair. Her hands trembled as she explained the situation. "Phantom, I've lost my most treasured spellbook, and without it, the mansion's magic will begin to fade," she whispered. "The book contains powerful spells that protect this very house and its inhabitants." Phantom's ears perked up, sensing the urgency of her words. He lifted his tail with a look of resolve and gave her a reassuring nod. "Fear not, Mrs. Whiskerwood," he meowed, his voice filled with confidence. "I'll find your precious book." With a flick of his tail, Phantom set off, beginning his search in the grand hall. Portraits of past residents lined the walls here, each with eyes that seemed to follow his every move. These were no ordinary paintings. The figures within them could talk, whisper, and even provide advice to those who dared to listen. Phantom approached one portrait, that of Sir Parrington, a gallant knight with a gleaming suit of armor. "Sir Parrington, have you seen Mrs. Whiskerwood's book?" Phantom asked respectfully. The knight's portrait chuckled, his armor clinking as he leaned forward in his frame. "Ah, Phantom. Yes, indeed, I saw the book. A gust of wind carried it out through the open window and towards the Enchanted Forest. I feared it would be lost to the forest's magic." Thanking Sir Parrington, Phantom dashed toward the forest, a place of beauty and mystery, but also of lurking danger. The Enchanted Forest lay just beyond the mansion's grounds, its tall, ancient trees casting long shadows in the moonlight. The forest was a place where plants seemed to murmur, and the air was filled with the sweet scent of night-blooming flowers. As Phantom entered, The trees seemed to lean in, forming a canopy over him. Wisps of fog curled around his paws, and curious eyes gleamed from the darkness. Undeterred, Phantom continued until he reached a clearing bathed in the glow of moonflowers. These magical blossoms were said to hold ancient wisdom, and beneath them sat Luna, the forest's resident owl, wise beyond her years. "Good evening, Luna," Phantom greeted with a respectful bow. "Have you seen a magical book pass through here?" The old owl blinked slowly, her wide, knowing eyes reflecting the moonlight. "Ah, Phantom," she hooted softly, "yes, the book you seek was taken by mischievous sprites. They dwell deep within the forest, in the shadows where sunlight never touches." With Luna's directions, Phantom pressed forward, his path growing darker and colder as he delved deeper into the forest. Yet he moved with purpose, his determination shining as brightly as his emerald eyes. After what felt like hours, Phantom found himself before the sprite's lair, a maze woven from vines and thorny brambles. The air was filled with laughter as tiny, shimmering figures darted around a familiar book resting on a stone pedestal. These were the sprites, light-hearted tricksters who often found amusement in borrowing things from the mansion. Phantom approached them, his voice gentle yet resolute. "Dear sprites," he began, "I've come to retrieve that book. It belongs to Mrs. Whiskerwood, and without it, Meow Mansion's magic will weaken." The sprites giggled and twirled, their laughter echoing like bells. "Why should we give it back, Phantom?" they teased. "It's such a delightful book." Phantom tilted his head, his gaze unwavering. "Because it's not just a book. It's the heart of the mansion. Without it, everyone in Meow Mansion will suffer." The sprites whispered among themselves before the leader floated forward. "Very well, Phantom. If you can solve 3 riddles, we will return the book." The sprites, glimmering with mischief, danced in a circle around Phantom, their tiny wings buzzing like hummingbird feathers. Each sprite's glow flickered in different hues, some soft lavender, others sparkling with blues and greens. They hovered around him, whispering to one another, as if sizing him up. The leader, a sprite with a crown of tiny stars, finally stepped forward and crossed her arms, a playful challenge in her eyes. "Since you are so determined, Phantom, we'll return the book," she said, "but only if you can solve our riddles. 3 riddles, to be exact. Fail even one, and we keep the book." Phantom nodded solemnly, his emerald eyes unwavering. "I accept your challenge," he replied, his tone calm but firm. He knew riddles could be tricky, often hiding their answers in simple words. But he was prepared, his mind sharp and focused. The first sprite, a delicate figure with wings as sheer as mist, spoke. Her voice was soft and haunting. "I speak without a mouth and hear without ears. I have no body, but I come alive with the wind. What am I?" Phantom considered the question, his tail twitching as he thought. He gazed into the shadows of the forest, where echoes of whispers seemed to drift in the air. A faint smile crossed his face. "An echo," he said confidently. The sprites let out a collective murmur, nodding in approval. They seemed pleased, yet determined to test him further. The second sprite, a small, fiery figure with an orange glow, fluttered forward, her eyes narrowing. "The more of this there is, the less you see." "What is it?" Phantom tilted his head, pondering the question. He remembered how Mrs. Whiskerwood would dim the lights in the library when she was deep in thought, enveloped in the comforting cloak of shadows. The answer became clear to him. "Darkness," he replied. The sprites exchanged impressed glances, a sparkle of admiration in their tiny eyes. But they weren't done yet. The final sprite, a larger figure with wings that shimmered like a dragonfly's, approached him with a sly grin. She leaned in close, her voice dropping to a near whisper. "What is always in front of you but can't be seen?" Phantom didn't hesitate this time. The answer came to him as naturally as the moon rose each night. "The future," he answered with a steady gaze. A hush fell over the sprites, their playful demeanor replaced by a quiet respect. The leader sprite smiled, clearly impressed. "You are indeed a wise and worthy guardian, Phantom," she said softly. The sprites retreated, leaving the book on a cushion of moss, glowing with a soft, warm light. Phantom gently placed his paw on the book, feeling the magic radiate from its pages. He bowed to the sprites in gratitude. "Thank you," he said. "I promise the book will be well taken care of." The sprites giggled one last time, their voices like the tinkling of bells, before disappearing into the mist. As they vanished, Phantom clutched the book close, relief and pride swelling in his chest. He had done it. Now, he just had to make it back to Meow Mansion before dawn broke. The journey back through the Enchanted Forest was quieter, though the path seemed to glow gently in the moonlight, as if guiding him home. The forest creatures, sensing his success, watched him with silent approval. Even the trees appeared to lean away, allowing Phantom a swift path back through the woods. By the time he reached the mansion, dawn was just beginning to cast its rosy light over the distant hills. Phantom entered Meow Mansion's grand hall, the familiar scents and sounds welcoming him like a warm embrace. As he made his way through the corridors, Mrs. Whiskerwood came rushing down the stairs, her robes billowing around her like waves of mist. "Oh, Phantom! You found it," she exclaimed, her voice filled with both surprise and joy. She ran to him, pulling him into a tight hug, her eyes glistening with gratitude as she took the book from his gentle grip. "You have saved us all, my dear Phantom." Word of Phantom's feat quickly spread throughout the mansion. The residents, ghostly, enchanted, and otherwise, gathered in the main hall to celebrate his bravery. Sir Parrington's portrait gave him a proud nod, and even the usually shy wisps of light flickered with excitement, dancing around him like little stars. Phantom, normally modest, allowed himself a small purr of satisfaction. As the residents chattered and cheered, Mrs. Whiskerwood lifted the book, murmuring words of an ancient spell. A surge of energy filled the room, and a warm, golden light enveloped the mansion. The walls seemed to shimmer with new life, and the soft hum of magic settled over Meow Mansion, restoring its enchanted balance. Later that evening, as the festivities died down, Phantom retreated to his favorite spot on the windowsill. The moon hung high in the sky, casting its silvery glow across the landscape. As he gazed out, he felt an overwhelming sense of contentment. He wasn't just a ghostly cat roaming the halls of Meow Mansion, he was a guardian, a protector of his friends and of the magical realm he called home. Stories of Phantom's adventure quickly became legends within the mansion's walls, tales whispered to new residents, and shared by the fire on chilly nights. Children listened wide-eyed as the stories of the brave ghost cat and his enchanted adventures grew with each retelling. In time, Phantom's presence became synonymous with hope and courage. Even those beyond the mansion heard tales of the ghostly feline who protected his home from danger. And though mysteries would continue to surface, and adventures would await, everyone at Meow Mansion knew that with Phantom there, they were safe. As the night deepened, and the stars twinkled like tiny, watching eyes in the sky, Phantom closed his own, knowing that he would forever roam these halls, a silent but ever watchful guardian, ready for whatever mystery or adventure awaited.